update on my staircase project. Basically, I'm at a point where I'm buffing. I'm using two hands and I'm like shoe shining. I'm holding the phone, that's why I have a ghost hand over there. And then do 50, for every 50 you do against the grain, turn your paper over and do 100 with the grain till it's nice and smooth and you feel it's, you know, at a perfect state. I sanded everything, all the old varnish, or I think it was alcohol, whatever, shellac. Then right here, the steps, I'm gonna actually put epoxy on just the where the heavy wear is. Just, I'm not gonna put it on the whole step, but just where the heavy wear is. I'm gonna go in about 3 inches, and then let it dry. And then I'm gonna put a little heavier where it's kind of sunken in. I mean, the ones that I feel that I can see, and kind of fill it in with the epoxy. And then that's years of durability right there. One thing I was gonna mention, if you're gonna do any kind of shaping on your wood, you have to have light. Especially if you're working with an orbital or you're using anything you plug in. You could do this by hand. I mean, it's a lot of work to do it by hand, but I mean, if I was retired or something and not working, I would do that. So, but since I'm not, I'm using these electric devices. But at the ending, I'm roughing it out. I'm doing everything by hand, you know, even my sanding. So, if you're gonna shape wood with an orbital, different shadows, you can gauge your work and how good it is and how well shaped and equal it is with light, the way you angle it. So my recommend, go buy some of these. They're 40 bucks at Home Depot and they run off a battery, or you could plug them in and they give off a lot of light. I use 4 of them usually at one time to light up the room, because you look at it this way, if you could see something at a high light, when there's no light, you won't be able to see it. So if you can hit those problem areas that you can see in the light, as you have no light, you won't barely ever see them at all. So it's just raising the bar on the project. That's all lighting does. And it's going to be black and white. So the banister is gonna, you know, there's special paint I'm gonna use. You don't go buy it from Home Depot or Menards. It's a special industrial kind of black, and I'm gonna introduce you to that product as I get it. This is, anyways, it's gonna be black and white. I'm gonna paint this black. The middle square is black. This is all gonna be white. These holes, I'm going to pick out with dental instruments all the crap, and then what I'm going to do is make sure they're perfectly shaped, and then I'm going to spray them with black paint. I don't want to use the brushed in there because I'm afraid I'm going to gum them up. And I think the reason why they put those circles in there, so you can see the shadow that the wood into the hole gives. So that's basically why I'm going to, you know, use that. You know, I'm gonna spray it black. And then I was even thinking about spraying the inside black, but on my outside putting white. So we'll see. I'm gonna do some sample things and let the person who I'm doing this for know, and then they can make that decision. I had to replace my spindles. Some of them didn't match. I had to get 13 at $9 a piece. So I would get about 15, 16 of them in case you in the future have problems. And I would paint them now, that way you have the perfect paint. So let's say you're bringing down a bed or something, you know, then you're like, uh-oh, where do I get these? Well, we got them 8 years ago. Well, they don't make them 8 years, you know, now. You know, then you're stuck. So that's why I always get extra. And that's where we're at right now, and I will show you as I go.